And you're live.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Calling to order the Board of Supervisors of Elections on Zoom Thursday, April 21st, 2022 at 7 o'clock. This is our first meeting with the new board. So we will be moving through the agenda. I'm Eileen Leahy. I am the interim chair. I had been the chair with the last cycle. So I'll get the ball rolling with this this year. So we'll start with roll call. I've introduced myself. Debbie, if you want to just say you're present.
Yes, present. Debbie Yatsuk.
I'm Regina Watkins Eldridge, City Clerk, present.
Okay. And we're expecting another board member, Keanu Smith-Brown, to join us, and also for Ashley Leonard from the Office of Law to be joining us. There are no comments that have been submitted via the form center for anybody that is viewing this meeting. We do have a web form online where you can submit written testimony, and also there is an option to present live testimony, even though it's Zoom. So feel free to please communicate with us. So want to introduce the new members. Looks like Keanu and Ashley are coming on board.
Oh, yay.
So Debbie, why don't you, if you can introduce yourself and just give us a short bio, and then we'll move on to Keanu.
Sure. I'm Debbie Yatsuk, and I am from Michigan, but have lived in Annapolis for over 40 years. 23 years, I was Recreation Director for the city of Bowie. However, I lived here. And now for 19 years, I've worked for the House of Delegates for one of our local Republican delegates. And I've been an election judge. I've also been in different roles, poll watching and in various campaigns as treasurer. And so I really appreciate the election process. I've never missed an election, and I hope others participate as well. And I'm honored to be able to serve in this role on the Board of Supervisors of Elections for the city, and municipal government is where my heart is. So we'll try to do our best. Thank you.
Great. Well, welcome aboard. Well, welcome, Keanu.
Hello. Good evening,
Hello.
everybody.
So we went ahead and got started. We weren't trying to, as I said earlier, we start on time, and you only missed it by a minute. So
Yeah, I was in there.
yeah. So it takes a
But
while to
hey,
get on.
yeah.
So if you can just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Keanu Smith-Brown. I was born here in Annapolis, my hometown. It's my city. I love the city of Annapolis. I also love the kids. I love our future is at stake here. So I'm a substitute teacher at Georgetown East Elementary School. I am also a former candidate of Ward 3. This is my home as well. Ward 3 is where I reside. I am also involved in the community here now as the Vice President of Superior Future, which is a local nonprofit organization focused on uplifting our youth and investing into those communities that need that support and mentorship and other ways of support. And I am also honored to be a member now officially of the Board of Supervisors of Elections. I'm so grateful to everyone who've got me here and supported and pushed us to make sure we have the right people in the right places. So thank you, Eileen, and to Ashley, hello, and to you, Miss Regina, hello.
There, well, welcome.
And Debbie, don't forget that.
So as many of you know, this is my third term. I had hoped to pass the baton, but was asked to stay on, and I'm very pleased to have both Keanu and Debbie on board. My background is a little different. I retired after 40 years of nursing, the last 20 years as a nurse practitioner. I've also been a director of development, and have a lot of different experiences, both with nonprofits and local boards and community groups. In addition to doing the Board of Elections, I'm also a tutor with the STAIR program over at Germantown Elementary, which is a great program. So I'm very excited. We have 4 years ahead of us, but as Regina and Ashley will tell you, it goes quickly. So there'll be a lot of things on the agenda. I'm just the interim chair for this evening, just to kind of get the ball rolling, and then we will follow the agenda and do an appointment of chair and get ourselves set up for the next meeting. As far as I know, Regina will be continuing with our meetings on the third Thursday of each month at 7 o'clock. And we do meet every month. Sometimes we don't meet in August. Sometimes we don't meet in December. It really depends on if there's business at hand. But other than that, we meet pretty regularly. And once we get into the election calendar cycle, we sometimes will have to meet more times. I think last year we met on 26 occasions. So a lot of them were short meetings, but it does build up. One of the challenges of having a small board with just 3 people is that we can't meet in subcommittees and things like that. So we do a lot of our business at our meetings and a lot of our discussions. So, but it's a good, and you'll find that we have lots of support from the city, and in particular from Regina and Ashley. So I'm going to throw it over to them and let Regina Watkins Eldridge tell us a little bit, introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her role in the election process.
Hi, I'm Regina Watkins Eldridge. I am the city's clerk, and I am also the election administrator. I am your clerk for your meetings, and on occasion, Cynthia Gaines, my deputy, fills in for me. I've been working with elections since about 2004. So that's several elections under my belt. My office, I think you are all aware, we're located on the first floor in City Hall, and Ashley is located down the hall from me. So if you're looking for us, we're in the office most of the time. I'm always here. My door is closed all of the time because the copier is outside of my door and it's noisy, but it's always open to you. So please feel free to drop by. And I think all of my contact information is on the bottom of every email you receive from me. And that's all I have. And I want to welcome you and let you know that we're here to help you if you need assistance.
Thank you, Regina.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Regina? Nope, she's been a great asset and is a wealth of information. So I know I have her number on speed dial. So it's under my favorites, along with Ashley. So,
Yep.
So the city assistant city attorney, Ashley Leonard, is the attorney that is assigned to the Board of Elections, and she also has been a great asset. So I'll turn it over to you, Ashley, for an introduction.
So apologies in advance. I have a 4-year-old and an almost 3-year-old boys who are often in the background or sharing my headphones as we speak. So he's listening too. I've been doing city elections since 2013, which was actually my first week on the job with the city. I got moved over to elections immediately. And before that, I worked for Baltimore County. My whole career has kind of been governmental law. So I've done a lot of elections. I've done a lot of elections while I've been going in and out of maternity leave. So frankly, I think the 2025 election should be a cakewalk for me by this point. And you are always welcome to contact me. And Elaine does speed dial me often. And I'm always happy to help. I do kind of have weird hours and I might not always pick up depending on what time of day it is because of the kiddos, but I will always get back to you.
Right. And I think Debbie and Keanu, just for you to know, Regina and Ashley really do turn things around for us. They're great assets as far as asking questions. Ashley's, both of them are great on code questions. Or if there's questions, you just, or you hear something and somebody asks you a question about elections and you can't find it in code or you're not sure, they're great to look it up and get back to you. So great. I'm glad we have the same team. I jumped ahead a little bit on the agenda as far as talking about the meeting dates. I'm hoping that Keanu and Debbie, that third Thursday of the month works for you all. Does it?
That's fine.
Okay. My understanding is we will be continuing Zoom meetings until after the garage is built.
Mhm.
So we'll be working in this form, which has its pros and cons. I think one of the biggest pros is that it does provide an opportunity for people to view it after the meeting, which is nice. It doesn't quite have the same feel as when we met in person. It was a little bit more informal, but it does have its pluses. The next item on the agenda, what do you, oh, there the boys.
Aw.
They're so cute. Look at Zach and Max.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes, and we don't have any for this. At our last meeting in, was February, we got all of that done. I want to thank Rebecca Brenia and Brianna Cuffey for all the good work that they did. I did send out kind of a wrap-up report on the elections. I apologize for just getting it sent out yesterday. I did like 98% of it 3 months ago and just put the links in yesterday. So that would be just good information for you all. Also, just reading the code as it is now would be helpful. And our minutes, probably the minutes for the past year would be helpful. You may also want to go to the website of the Anne Arundel County State Board of Elections. They also have a lot of information, and it's sometimes useful to see how they do things, which sometimes differs from the municipal elections. So we'll be doing the minutes next time. Next item on the agenda is the appointment of the chair according to the, I guess, is it the code or the charter? I'm not sure which part it's in, where we do an annual election. Pretty much, I think all boards and commissions do it. So we do an annual chair. In the past two rotations, the past two terms that I've been on, what we've done is rotate. We can do it whatever way we want to do it, but we have found that it does, bring some different perspective and shares the work a little bit. So it is a 1-year term, and then generally whoever is kind of in the third slot generally does a little bit longer, because that's right before the election and just for continuity purposes. So I have been the chair. I would prefer not to be the chair. Currently, I actually would like to take the lead. We can discuss this more on another agenda item. I would really like to be the one to take the lead on revising the city code and charter for election law. One of the biggest recommendations from the last members of the board is that it really needs to be updated completely. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to really think ahead, think forward to the future, and get that going. And that will take a while. And if our primary stays the current date in September, we need to have the election calendar and everything in place by August 2024, which isn't that far away. Yes, Regina?
We already have it finished.
Right, but you never know, we might be changing it. So if we change
That's
the
why
code and change the primary, that all gets changed, so.
That's why we finished it.
Right.
So we can just change individual sections. Yes, we are ready.
So anyway, so I'll throw it out to you, Keanu and Debbie, as far as any interest you have in being chair.
And tell them what the term is.
Oh, I did. The term is 1 year.
It's from April the 21st of 2022 to April 20th of 2023.
Regina, do you want to go over some of the duties of the chair?
Oh yeah, we're going to be really close. Basically, the chair is the main contact. If we have any issues, any letters that come in from the citizens, any instructions that come down from the administration, we share those with the chair first. They make sure that the agenda is set and review all of the attachments to the agenda. So like the week prior to the meeting, you'll be receiving a lot of emails from me with information going back and forth, just so you can be prepared to speak about it at your public meeting.
Right.
Well, I would defer to Keanu if you would like to step up this year. I have a couple other things going on, so I would be happy to have you serve as chair if Eileen wants a break and to take on something else.
So you can make a motion to nominate Mr. Smith Brown.
Well, are you game? Are you in? Are you okay with that?
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Okay, all right. Then I make a motion for Keanu Smith Brown to be chairman of the Board of Supervisor of Elections for the April 22nd, April 2022 to April 2023 calendar year.
Okay.
Can you second it, Keanu?
I will second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed, any abstentions? Nope. All right, well, so moved.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you get to do the next part of the agenda, which is any new business, which right now is empty.
Okay. Well, do we have any new business? No, Miss Regina, we don't. All right, you say it's empty.
Well, I have one thing I'd like to add, at least for new business for the next meeting, if we could. I would like to propose that we're prepared to draft a resolution requesting the city council to act on either a task force or some sort of mechanism for which we start addressing the revision changes. So that's something that we can do our homework on and think about before our next meeting. But I think knowing how they're caught up in budget right now and how things move through the process, it would be nice to get that going sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, because the city council recesses in the month of August. So we're actually starting with May. So if you want to get something done and get it on the agenda, we need to have it at least 2 weeks prior to the meeting you want it introduced on. But when the board creates a resolution, they have to have sponsorship by somebody on the city council. So the first person, the chair on behalf of the board would have to speak with would probably be the mayor or the city manager, or to reach out to one of the aldermen to see if they're interested in sponsoring the legislation, because it cannot go on the city council agenda unless it's sponsored by the mayor or one of the elected officials.
Now, I know the city has various boards and commissions, and I know the city council are assigned to councilman committees. Do the boards and commissions have a city council liaison? They all have a staff liaison, right?
Yeah.
But do they have a council liaison?
I'm not sure what.
Right. So like we have you as a city staff liaison and Ashley as the Department of Law liaison. Do the aldermen, are they assigned to be a liaison to each of the city boards and commissions? So we would have one of those aldermen who might have an interest in elections? No. Okay.
No. We do everything through Regina.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically,
if we needed a mayor or alderman sponsorship, there's not one we should go to over another.
That is correct.
Okay.
They're all aware of the need.
Okay.
So at our meeting next week, we can talk about that and decide then who we would want to go to reach out to, whether that would be the mayor or any other council persons. Okay. I did read over the notes that you shared too, Eileen. So I know part of that with the task force, I'm all in for that as well. And so I'll be supporting it as much as I can.
My thought with the task force is that would allow us to have a larger group than just on the board, and would allow us to capture people outside of the city that may have expertise to help us.
Even in different
But certainly
cities.
everything would go through the board. So it's not jumping over the board, but a group that can be working along with us.
And a task force usually has a start and an end date.
Exactly.
How long do we think this task force will need?
You know, that may be one of the questions you want to speak to one of the alderpersons or the mayor who's sponsoring the legislation.
And we could do, I think also we can do some research in the interim and talk to people that have been through the process.
And you may want to keep in mind, you're already into year number 2. So the election's in 2025. We're almost in 2023.
So it'll get done. So we'll just, there's some resources out there, particularly the Maryland Municipal League and other boards of elections. We have some contacts there. So there's lots of people to touch base with. And I don't think we have to put an end date on it as such. I would at least give it a year, if nothing else, just to have extra time than not enough time. And then, there'll be back and forth revisions. I mean, things could go to the council or go to the committee and they're saying, we don't like this part. I think there is something to be said about trying to pass a package as opposed to trying to do it in pieces. But again, we'll look at that as we move through the process. But the whole code is so interrelated. And there's, as Regina and also Ashley can attest to, there's a lot of holes. So,
Exactly.
and if you look at the state code, that's also a very helpful resource. It would be nice if we could kind of complement each other a little bit more.
Right.
So.
Right.
Going back to the Charter Review Commission, which is only every 10 years, and fortunately Eileen was on that. Would we work off of the part of their recommendations that deal with election law? Is that your thought with the task force?
I mean, it could be part of it, but the three recommendations were made one was to expand the Board of Supervisors of Elections. One is to make a referendum or a ballot question on the question of nonpartisan versus partisan elections. That's also something that can be dealt with sooner. I think the rationale behind framing it in that regard was when it's been recommended in the past, it hasn't happened. I think it might be helpful to have have the city council make a final determination. And then if somebody wants to pick it up, theoretically, the city council could go ahead and say, yes, we want nonpartisan elections now. Again, I think that's an area that needs more research. And the commission also noted that and said it certainly needs. There are many forms, I shouldn't say many, but there are several forms of nonpartisan elections. So it's looking at what would fit for Annapolis, if it would even fit, what's the purpose, who's it, benefiting. And then the other one is to, again, ask the ongoing question or put on a ballot question is about cycling in with either the state cycle of elections or the national elections. I believe the commission decided when they looked at it, they felt that it would be, we went that route, it would be better to do it in a presidential election year because the ballot would be shorter. One of the concerns that people bring up is that you're at the end of the ballot and, people may not go all the way to the end. And there's also some things as far as name recognition and confusion that can happen if we're conducting a city election at the same time that the county's conducting election at the same time that the state is. But it's a ballot question. I mean, again, it was just trying to move things through. Both had the opportunity in the last election to have ballot questions. We did have people come forward and ask about it. And for whatever reason, a lot of people have been talking about it, but we haven't really had the follow through with it. So again, those are things that can all be discussed as part of the process, I think.
Great, thank you.
All right, so we'll start that more next week. Well, we are at the last part of the agenda, which is adjournment, if there's no more new business. So is there a motion to adjourn on our first meeting with the new members?
I move that we adjourn at 7:23. 7:24 now.
7:24. All right, thank you. May I have a second?
Yeah, second.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning this meeting, please say aye.
Okay, yes.
You okay? All opposed? No? Okay, no abstention vote.